In the XRP community, one idea keeps coming back again and again. Never sell your XRP, but instead of selling even a single coin, can it actually pay you just for holding it? Is it really possible to generate income without giving up your position? And if so, how does it work? And what are the hidden trade-offs most people never mention? Let's dive in. Before going any further, we need to clarify what getting paid actually means in crypto. It doesn't mean free money. It usually means lending your assets, providing liquidity, or taking on market exposure in exchange for fees or interest. In every case, income exists because someone else is paying for liquidity, capital, or risk. Unlike Ethereum, XRP was never designed for staking or complex smart contracts. The XRP ledger focuses on fast payments, low fees, and reliability. It does include a native decentralized exchange and automated market makers introduced in recent years. But these tools are limited compared to DeFi ecosystems, and that matters when discussing income strategies. On the XRP ledger itself, the main way holders try to earn is through liquidity provision. By depositing XRP into AMM pools on the native DEX, users earn a share of trading fees generated by swaps. Interfaces like Zaman or XP Market make this accessible, but returns depend entirely on volume, pricing, and market behavior, not guarantees. Some XRP holders look outside the XRP ledger and use centralized platforms instead. In the past, exchanges or lenders like Bitrue and Nexo offered yield products for XRP. Here, income comes from lending your XRP to third parties. The trade-off is clear. You give up custody and fully trust the platform to remain solvent. Another approach involves wrapping XRP on other blockchains. Wrapped versions can then interact with DeFi protocols, offering lending or liquidity rewards. But this adds multiple layers of risk: bridges, smart contracts, custodians, and network security. Each layer increases complexity, and each one introduces new failure points most users underestimate. No matter the method, income without selling always comes with risk. Liquidity providers face impermanent loss. Lenders face counterparty failure. Wrapped assets face bridge exploits or smart contract bugs. There is no version of this strategy without exposure. The difference isn't whether risk exists, it's whether you understand where it hides. For many XRP holders, this isn't just about yield, it's psychological. Years of holding, regulatory uncertainty, and missed opportunities create pressure to do something without selling. Income strategies promise more than money. They offer patience, validation, and the feeling that holding was the right decision all along. When XRP generates income through liquidity, it doesn't come from the network itself. It comes from traders paying fees. If volume is low, income is low. If volatility spikes, risks increase. This means returns depend far more on market conditions than on XRP itself, a detail often ignored in income narratives. One of the most misunderstood risks is impermanent loss. When you provide liquidity, your XRP is constantly rebalanced against another asset. If prices move sharply, you may end up with fewer XRP than you started with. Even if fees are earned, losses can quietly outweigh gains, especially during volatile market phases. Centralized yield products feel simpler. You deposit XRP and interest appears automatically, but this convenience hides a trade-off: control. When platforms fail, pause withdrawals, or change terms, users have no protection. History shows that yield often works until it suddenly doesn't, usually when markets turn against you. Wrapped XRP allows holders to access DeFi yields unavailable on XRPL itself, but every wrapper adds dependency on bridges, smart contracts, and custodians. This creates layered risk. If any single component fails, funds can be lost entirely. The yield may look attractive, but complexity increases faster than most users realize. Across every income strategy, one cost appears again and again: custody. Either you hand control to a platform, or you trust code, bridges, and protocols to behave as expected. Income doesn't come from nowhere. It's compensation for giving up certainty, simplicity, or control, sometimes all three at once. The longer someone holds XRP, the harder selling becomes emotionally. Income strategies offer a compromise: action without exit. Instead of admitting uncertainty, holders seek ways to monetize patience. This turns never sell from a belief into a system, even when the system introduces risks far greater than simply holding. Income without selling can make sense in specific situations. For experienced users, small allocations, and controlled risk, it can complement a long-term position. In practice, when XRP income strategies work, returns are usually modest, often in the low single-digit range per year. Anything consistently higher typically comes with increased risk, reduced liquidity, or loss of control. At its core, this strategy isn't about getting paid by XRP. It's about renting your exposure to others. Sometimes that trade-off is worth it. Often, it isn't. Understanding where income comes from matters far more than the income itself. Because in crypto, the fastest way to lose conviction is mistaking complexity for safety. If you simply hold XRP, your risk is clear and limited to price movement. Once you chase income, new variables appear: fees, volatility, platforms, and execution timing. This doesn't make income strategies wrong, it makes them different. And confusing holding with earning is where most expectations quietly break. Yield screenshots often look impressive, but they hide context. Fees fluctuate, volume dries up, platforms adjust terms. Most returns shown online ignore drawdowns, opportunity cost, and time spent managing positions. What looks like passive income on paper often becomes active monitoring in practice, especially during market stress. Every strategy has an opportunity cost. Liquidity locked in pools can't be sold quickly. Assets lent out can't react instantly to market moves. Sometimes the biggest cost isn't a loss, it's missing flexibility. And in fast-moving markets, flexibility often matters more than yield percentages promised in advance. Content promising income without selling spreads easily online. It confirms existing beliefs, reduces anxiety, and delays hard decisions. Algorithms reward hope more than nuance. But repeating a narrative doesn't make it safer, it just makes it familiar. Understanding why an idea spreads is often more important than believing the idea itself. For long-term holders, the priority isn't squeezing yield from every coin. It's understanding exposure, liquidity, and downside scenarios. Income strategies should never replace a clear thesis. They should only exist on top of it, small, controlled, and reversible. If income forces you to abandon clarity, the cost is already too high. The most realistic way to approach XRP income is as an experiment, not a promise. Small size, clear limits, no assumptions. If it works, it complements your position. If it fails, it doesn't define it. That mindset removes emotion from the equation and turns income into a tool, not a belief system. Many people believe earning income strengthens conviction. In reality, it often replaces it. Conviction comes from understanding the asset, its role, and its risks. Income simply changes how exposure is managed. When income becomes the reason for holding, the original thesis quietly disappears, and confusion follows soon after. So, can XRP pay you without selling? Yes, but not automatically, not safely, and not without trade-offs. Every method involves risk, complexity, or loss of control. Income exists, but it's earned by accepting exposure, not avoided by holding beliefs. The difference between success and regret is understanding that distinction clearly. XRP can pay you without selling, but only if you fully understand what you're trading in return. Income isn't free, passive, or guaranteed. It's a choice. If you want to explore the world of crypto, don't chase miracles. Educate yourself. Because in this world, a simple click can change a life. But only knowledge can protect your future.